Do you remember that trillion-dollar sci-fi city Saudi Arabia was building out in the desert? Well, reality just caught up with them. The money pool is basically empty, and those massive mega projects, they are quietly shutting down. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we are cutting through the PR hype. Why is Saudi Arabia suddenly walking away from a futuristic mirror city they have spent years hyping up? Look, the math just didn't work out. The foreign investors didn't show up. Building a fake winter wonderland in the middle of the desert totally wrecked the budget, and dumping $5 billion into professional golf, it gave them zero return on investment. Today, we are going to look at exactly how $1 trillion just vanishes. This is the real story behind the collapse of Vision 2030. So, let's get into it. How does a country sitting on an ocean of oil actually run out of cash to build its future? Here's the thing, you have to look at the foreign money, or rather, the lack of it. Saudi Arabia's entire game plan was built on one big assumption. They'd use their oil money to get things started, and then massive global investors, banks, tech giants, and hedge funds would step in and pay for the rest. But that didn't happen. Why? Because the political vibe was just too unpredictable. Remember back in 2017 when billionaires were locked inside the Ritz-Carlton? Yeah, that kind of stuff scares off private money. The investors backed away. Think of it like trying to fill a massive swimming pool. You have got your own garden hose, but you are counting on your neighbor bringing their giant fire hose to help you fill it. If your neighbor never shows up, you are forced to drain your own house water supply to fill this impossible pool. Eventually, your pipes run dry. That's exactly what happened here. The public fund had to drain its own savings to cover the missing foreign cash. Despite high oil prices, the money is just gone. They hit a wall. Now they are slashing budgets across the board because the dream of having unlimited cash is officially dead. Okay, so when $1 trillion fund runs dry, what actually happens to that 161-kilometer long mirrored city in the desert? You drop the marketing talk and make some brutal cuts. Take the line. The original plan was a continuous city stretching 161 kilometers. Now, it's been chopped down to a tiny fraction of that. But look closer, it's not just a money problem. It's a physics problem. Take Trojena, that huge mountain project meant to host the 2029 Winter Games. That project is dead. The games got moved to Kazakhstan. Why? Because building a ski resort in the desert isn't just wildly expensive, it defies physics. It's literally like leaving a giant industrial freezer wide open in the middle of the Sahara Desert and just paying an insane electric bill to keep the ice from melting. The costs just don't add up, and the engine burned out. And it doesn't stop there. That massive $50 billion cube project they wanted to build, the one 20 times the size of Empire State Building, completely scrapped. This isn't them trying to be eco-friendly. They are dropping the sci-fi stuff because they are in pure desperate survival mode. If they couldn't afford to build their own cities, why did they set $5 billion on fire to build a golf league? Let's look at sports. They threw a ton of money around to boost their global reputation and move away from just being the oil guys. The biggest chunk of that went into the LIV Golf Tour. But here's the reality check. After dropping $5 billion, they have gotten basically zero financial return. Buying prestige just doesn't work if you aren't actually selling anything to fans locally. Think of it like revving a car engine in neutral. You are burning through premium gas, making a ton of noise and generating crazy heat, but the car isn't actually moving forward. You aren't spinning the tires, you are just wearing out the engine until it tears itself apart. That's LIV Golf. It went from being a flashy new toy to a massive financial headache. So, after some hard looks at the books, in early 2026, they slammed the brakes. They are closing the vault on these massive vanity projects to save the core of their economy. If the buildings are failing and the sports deals are bleeding cash, where are they putting their money to survive the next decade? Look at what's happening in the region right now. With all the conflicts going on, building massive glass hotels and luxury cities makes you a massive, fragile target. Nobody wants to invest billions into a glass building in a war zone. So, they are pulling their money out of physical buildings and dumping it into digital infrastructure. Neom isn't going to be a luxury eco-city anymore. It's pivoting into a giant, hardware-heavy AI data hub. We are talking data centers, microchips, and massive tech operations. It's a much safer bet. Every single project is now being watched like a hawk. The era of the blank check is officially over. When you try to force a massive transformation, you eventually hit a wall of physics and finances. Everyone who was relying on endless Saudi cash from global sports to construction is waking up to a huge reality check. 2026 isn't just a pivot, it's them finally admitting their limits. The sci-fi dreams are gone. They still want the 2034 World Cup, sure, but they are terrified of blowing up their national debt by 2050. So, it leaves us with a big question. Was dumping oil money into a golf league and a glass city ever a smart insurance policy? Or are real data hubs the only real way they survive in the future? Let me know what you think of this whole pivot in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.